All right, who we got?
Well, you know what we have. You have been telling me a lot about this man, and you've been trying to get him for some time. And he has some great books out. He's an extraordinary man. His name is Paul D. Jones. He is a marketing and consulting firm owner. He remembers the hardships he endured trying to pay his way through school. So you're paying it forward. We're going to talk about that a little later. But he's the author and a motivational speaker, and he offers a free weekly seminar, Victory Through Faith, which provides classes that teach attendees how to plan for success. You are one that schedules for success, I hear, and he's an extraordinary man that has extraordinary things. So let's talk to him.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
Glad to finally have you here. And you know, some people, when you talk to them, you just hit it off. And I interviewed him for a minute. I forget who led me to you to introduce me to you, but they said you got to have him on. He was on Dorinda's and Nikki Black from the Chronicle.
Nikki, yep.
She said he was on Dorinda's, blah blah blah, and you were on Marvin Winans' show. And I'm just glad to have you today.
Yes.
Talk about your hardships a little bit, because now you ain't having hardships now.
No.
But talk about the struggle, and then we're going to start talking about this book, because we got to talk about scheduling for success.
Right. Well, one, growing up I can't say, it was a true hardship. It was just there was no money. But I always tell people that replaced by money was love from my mother. So we never knew we really didn't have until once I got older and we got out. Then you started recognizing what was going on, in life of, okay, who has a nicer car, or who has a nicer home, or who has this. But my mother really, she did a wonderful job at showing me what love is first. And when a child grows up in a loving home, and it was just her, but it was like, and that's why I, give kudos to all the single moms out there. It's like, don't make excuses. Betty did her thing, and she carried a big stick. Don't be ashamed to do that, because I'm glad I think I came out all right.
Isn't that funny, though? A lot of mothers nowadays, single parents, the younger mothers now, they make a lot of excuses.
Yes.
But when you talk about the single mothers of our time, they make no excuse. They did what they had to.
Exactly.
Oh, no, she would shake me and be like, "You gonna be something, don't you get out here embarrassing me, But I get it, at the time I was like, man, mama's hard, but it's like, I love her dearly, my brothers and sisters, as you grow older, you realize that, okay, you understand the true purpose of God and how God works through people. And as I got out in life, then I'm like, okay, I get what Mom was saying. You got to go bump your head sometimes. But I'm just glad that she protected me from hurting my head. It's a big difference. I bumped my head, but I didn't get hurt.
Wow, that's good.
That's really, really good. Some people that are watching right now, we're going to be talking about how to be successful.
Yes.
You have 3 major businesses out there. So I want you to get a pen and piece of paper, because we're going to give you some notes today of how you can be successful and turn your world around. Because you talk about who told you were broke. I know you've heard that, but he's going to tell you who told you that and how you get out of your situation. Now, when you talk about paying it forward, some people, when you talk about your hardship, you had hard times paying your way through school.
That's right.
But now you're paying some kids' ways through school. Talk to us about that.
Well, it was really, once you're in college and you got to get those bills paid, that's more stress on you than worrying about the grade. We should be in school, and our youth today should be in school focused on getting the grade. And while I was in school, you're seeing your other friends, I was the designated driver because I didn't drink or smoke. So they say, come on, Big P, you driving tonight. And I'm like, all right, I'll drive you all around. But I'm watching the lifestyle of some affluent kids, I would say. And I'm seeing that the worries that I had of staying in school, they didn't have. And I really give a lot of credit to my uncle, who stepped in and helped me out a little bit. And then from there, I just made a vow that, I'm going to do something different. I don't want my kids to go through this, and I don't want other people's kids. So I told God, I want to be a millionaire, but I'm going to do it with a different purpose. I want to be financially set, but I want to show others how to get financially set, because I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I know what it's like to have the counselor at school, at your college, not regular school, but in college, tell you if this bill is not paid, you will not be taking class. But you're told in society that you need this education to be something. So I said, well, if I need this education to be something, but I need this money, which we never had. So it wasn't making sense, but we got it together, and I just thank God for taking my pain and making it a testimony to solve someone else's.
Bishop Ivy Hilliard says something that I repeat all the time. Since you're going to have a future, you might as well plan your future.
Absolutely.
And I said this on the radio show as we were talking about you coming today. I just detest people that live life haphazardly, like there's no tomorrow. I believe whatever you're getting today is because what you planned yesterday. And schedule for success. Turn your schedule into stepping stones for success. This is your book. I want to read just the first page of the first chapter. It says, whatever you want to accomplish in life can be accomplished if your goals are carefully scheduled. Scheduling is the process by which you plan the effective use of your time, thereby reduce stress and maximize your effectiveness.
That's right.
I simply love it.
Yes,
Too
sir.
many people are procrastinators. I have a friend, and we talked about this yesterday. Too many people procrastinate. They don't plan for the future. They don't plan. I'm a planner by nature. And so talk about scheduling for success, not for failure. You don't plan to fail.
That's right.
Who really, when you think about who really just sit back and say, I'm ready to plan to fail. Talk about it.
Well, what they got to realize is this right here. When you don't schedule yourself, you're actually planning to fail, because someone else, or we can call them an adversary, is also making plans. So we sometimes underestimate that life is going to happen. I tell my little guys, like, time is not going to stop and wait for you. So therefore, if we know we got to get through this day, then we must schedule every second of a minute, every minute of an hour, and every hour of the day, so that we understand that this is your treasure map. If you look at your navigation system, it tells you what roads to take. So therefore, in life, we got to look at it and say, no one just woke up and said, you know what, I want to just have a bad day. No, I wake up and say, I'm going to have a great day. So therefore, everything is scheduled from the flight to be here. If all of our schedules have to match to arrive at this precise moment. Now, if people can take that to a bigger level, and you come into agreement with 2 or 3, as the word says, now you say, you know what, whether it's a husband and a wife right now that says, you know what, honey, within 2 years, we're going to live here. We're going to live at this level. We're going to do this. And then they come into agreement with a plan. Now they're in better communication. They're being more effective with their daily time, and they're accomplishing something. And when they make errors and make mistakes, because it's documented, they can look and say, oh, we messed up right there. Let's fix it. So the directions you go is always creating a path. You know, I'm up in Minnesota where we were still getting snow. You know, but if you walk in that path in that snow, you can look back and you can see the footprints. But what a lot of people are doing is they're making footprints, but there's no path. So therefore, they don't know how to go back and fix their own mistakes. But when you schedule it and you document it, just like if the police or the detectives or the FBI come in and say, we need to see what you've been doing with your time, they want you to account for every second of your time to prove that you were not where you say you were, or were you not. So we have to do the same thing with our success and our finances and our marital and our relationship life. Oh yeah, we got to schedule it.
I know Lady Nicole wants to get in, and I want to ask this. We're going to take a break. We're going to wait for it, the answer. What do you say to the people that are saying, you know, I'm praying and I'm waiting for God to do it? You know, he knows the plan that he has for my life. What do you say to those people who I call are the deep folk that are waiting on Jesus to come and do it for them? And you're sitting here saying, you schedule, but they say they're waiting on Jesus. When we come back, we'll have the answer for you to that question.
Davis Ministry and Good News with Greg Davis present Let the Healing Begin. 2-day Healing and Miracle Crusade with Bishop Greg Davis. Friday, May 31st at 7 p.m. and Saturday, June 1st at 10 a.m. Let the Healing Begin will be held at Word in Action Church, located 18901 Wyoming Avenue. Join Bishop Greg Davis for 2 days of God's supernatural power at work.
In your mouth is the ability to decree and declare. If you decree a thing, it shall shall be established.
Bishop Davis will be preaching and praying for the sick in both services. Call to register and reserve your seat today. 313-638-GREG. That's 313-638-4734. Let the healing begin. 2-day Healing and Miracle Crusade with Bishop Greg Davis. Don't miss.
I said if you decree a thing, it shall.
Mayor's on the way, May 31st, June 1st. Join me right here in Detroit. I'm excited. That commercial
let me
made
say, it made me excited. Maybe you have to be there. Make sure you mark your calendars right now. You want to be in the building. If you have someone that you know needs a healing, make sure you get them there. May 31st, June the 1st. You do not want to miss it. I know it's only 300 seats, so you want to make sure you are first in line so that you definitely have a seat during those 2 days.
Thank you so much. Good to have a co-host that can talk for you. You ain't getting push it for you. You ain't got to push yourself. I love it.
But you left here with a question.
Yeah, I did.
You're saying that people are believing God. You know, somebody sitting there watching, they say, you know what? God has a plan for my life, and I know that He's going to show me how to get there. What would you say to that person?
Well, number one, I would tell them what the Lord Jesus said. You know, He said, do business till I come.
Occupy, do business.
So we are being taken out. And if we really take this deeper, our kids are being taken out in our communities right now. The lobbyists, because we're not politically connected, are really controlling what's happening in our communities because we're refusing to do business until He comes. You know, we must be mindful that the Word says, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, but let your patience have its perfect works. So we must do that, and in the end we will be complete, lacking nothing. So we have to be mindful, but as He also says, when you ask in faith without doubting, because you don't be tossed to and fro like the waves of the sea. So we have to also realize that we are ambassadors. You know, I realize is that, you know, we want our kids to go to school, we want to go to college, and let's take it even a step further. You know, even employment in the workplace, just because we say we are that of Christ. Therefore, employers should be breaking doors down to hire us because we are functioning at a higher level of integrity. Matter of fact, that means I can trust you more. That means when, as the Word says, you be a good steward. So therefore, we know this now. So, you know, when you look at a college, at a resume, you want to see where that student went to college as we were hiring and stuff. And I look and see where they went to college, but you got to sometimes look and say, where'd you go to church? Because when you know that that person and that foundation of their upbringing is right, then when you hear a person say, I went to Harvard, or I went someplace like that, you know what? We got to say, you know what? This person is a person of Christ. So therefore, the business life is going to be that much more greater. Why? Because we have a level of faith and a level of tolerance. See, we know how to forgive so we don't hold grudges. We know how to be blessed and not be offended of how man treats us because Jesus told us, blessed is he who is not offended of me. See, we know how to get down when others say it's not going to work. We know how to have that mustard seed and move a mountain. So therefore, all Christians, all true believers shall be wealthy, not just in their finances, but in their personal lives. So once we get this together, then we'll look at who our Heavenly Father really is with a different level of respect first. And once you respect who he is, then others will have to respect you because now you received who he truly is. You're more than a conqueror. You're the head and not the tail. We don't wait, we go.
So someone's sitting on there and they're getting fired up of everything that you just said.
'Cause I'm getting fired.
Okay? But they know that they have a problem with procrastination. You talk about scheduling for success, but they're saying it's just like it's something I can't get over. I'm trying to plan, I'm trying to schedule, but it just seems like I keep procrastinating.
Right.
What would you say to that person right now? If they say, you know, I want to do it.
Still.
I just said that like in church yesterday. Just say it. Right. Depression, right.
Be still for a moment. Sit down and audit your schedule and ask yourself, why is this? Are you following the goals for man, or are you following the goals that God mandated on you?
Good.
Because sometimes we're being carbon copies trying to be like someone else. And when you're being a carbon copy trying to be like someone else, you're never truly at peace with what you're doing. So we already know the information is here. All we have to do is act on the information. You know, I know, Bishop knows. So now we get together and I can show anyone as I travel the country showing you how to get in business. I petition churches to call me and bring me there. Don't just say, It's principles to that. But from there is, I know I can show a person how to start their own business because I've done it. But they have to make sure that that's their calling. Sometimes people want to just go be there, but it's like, hey, Peter served Jesus to the point where he cut somebody's ear off. Who are you serving to the point where you'll cut their ear off?
That's
so
good.
If they're going against the person you're serving. So you have to be committed and form relationships. That's the first
You have a
thing.
chapter in there talk about stay connected.
Oh, if you're not connected, then everything falls apart. That's how Satan wants to divide us anyway. So he'll bring different issues. Some say you're speaking a prosperity message. No, I'm speaking a common sense message. The bill man was there before me, and when I go, the bill man is going to be there. So we have to realize that we should have good credit. And a lot of this, I tell people, I learned from my own mistakes. So somebody has to be an open book to say, man, I made millions and lost it all. Had to call mothers, sisters, uncles, and everybody like, hey, help me out, help me out, help me out. But then it turned around. And I never stopped giving. And this ain't a message to say, hey, now come give. I'm saying I never stopped giving. I kept sowing because that is the key to unlock. And what it is you're saying, I'm relying on God to take care of this. So even today, we wired money to people's kids to go to college. That's the difference. And my wife will even look at me sometimes and be like, we got to take care of our own. I'm like, you know what? God is going to take care of it. And that manifested and happened for my life. My daughter's going to Boston. Hey, girl.
All right, Boston's in the building.
know.
Now, you just said you lost it all.
Yes.
And somebody's watching right now saying, you know what, I tried it and stopped. I tried it and I failed. What happened for you? What was the thing that turned it around to make you successful right now?
Well, number one, it was my attitude. I knew I was going to make it. It didn't matter what nobody else said. I knew I was going to make it.
So first things having attitude, just knowing, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what happens.
You have to stand on God supply my needs according to his riches and glory. But don't be hocus pocus either. We got a lot of times, and I talk to people and they're like, well, this is what God told me. In other words, if God told you that, that tells any person to stop talking to you. And we have to realize that, because the minute a person tells me God told me, I'm done. So we have to be open to receive counsel. And when we're open to receive counsel, as I go to the business book first, which is my Bible, and it says, look at the ant. So take the ways of the ant. So what the ant does, if you put an obstacle in the way of an ant, the ant goes around the obstacle. You put an obstacle in the way of a person, they say, oh, it must not be of God. No, you're going to face trials and tribulations. So we have to be more stronger, and we have to band together and be committed to doing what we said we were going to do. I knew I loved my wife. I knew I loved my 2 kids. I know I love my mother, and I know I love my brothers and sisters. Therefore, if I quit, if I would have gave up, I wasn't just giving up. The Cadillac I gave my mother for Mother's Day, the lifestyle, paying off people's homes and all of that, the minute I would have stopped, that would have been Satan's victory over me. But I didn't stop. I reformed, I adjusted, I started new businesses, and they took off. And it's like, because we did it right from the beginning with the right root of faith in there. But it was tough. We just didn't quit.
They're telling me to take a break, but we're not going to take a break. I want to keep going. And if you could put his information on the screen, because I want you to get this book, but I want to do something real quick. Yes, I'll call a lightning round, okay?
There we go.
I'm going to say these things, and just give me a few words on each one. And it's in your book. I know you wrote it, so I know you can do it. Okay, we talked about schedule for success. Schedule for your mind success.
You must be educated.
Okay. All right. Schedule for physical health.
You must exercise and make sure you eat.
Yes. What you're doing.
Yes, sir.
What you're doing on a regular basis, because you were.
Well, I wouldn't have fit in this year.
You're kidding me.
Yes. So I'm still shrinking.
Wow. Schedule great relationships.
Yes. You need people in your life. Don't ever get arrogant and say, I got God. No, the Word of God says you need both God and man, and that's how you receive favor from both.
This is the biggest one to me. This is what causes everybody to miss it, and that's schedule freedom from fear.
Yes, you must have faith. Anything can scare you.
Faith cancels out fear. I'm sorry, you wrote the book.
You gotta have faith.
You've been reading it, so you know he's there.
You gotta have faith. Just go for it. Anything will scare you, but that's the biggest trick. Is if I can scare you, then you will create a scenario that doesn't exist, and you'll make the scenario real in your mind, and you'll actually be operating in a lie.
Schedule hope for future achievement.
Know where you want to go tomorrow. Have a 5-year plan. Have a 2-year plan. So therefore, while you're working today, you're going to accomplish what you're working on. Now you go to the next level.
Bishop, you just said something real key. Know what you want to do tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, just that plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you want to do tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
Just make sure you know what you want to accomplish every day to get to your goal.
You have a forecast for yourself. The weatherman can forecast.
Not just the 2 and 5
There you
year,
go.
but tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
So stop letting people tell you,
That's good.
don't worry about that. It's going, no, foolishness.
You better schedule
what
it
you want to do tomorrow?
and plan it. Because if you don't schedule it, you must realize that your competitor, I'm speaking business now, he's scheduling too. So you got to take it. Your personal life is also a business. Each and every person, whether they realize it or not, are the CEOs and presidents of themselves. So if you don't schedule for yourself to improve, then somebody else is going to outschedule you and take your blessing. Wealth transfers.
I hope you're writing this down, but I want you to get a pen and paper because I'm going to tell you how to reach him because I have not seen it on this. I don't know if we're having problems with the lower thirds. We are having problems. So I need you to get a pen and paper. When this re-airs, it's going to be on there, but I need to give his information because you need to run and get this book. Schedule advancing yourself.
Well, it's kind of the same, similar, but it's different. We all need to know how to advance. You're advancing if you're in a job. How do you get to that next level? How do you get promoted? And do it with integrity. And what it is educating yourself to know your surroundings. The better you know you, the better your advancing will be.
Schedule for now.
Oh, you got that means action. Get going.
Now, faith.
Right now.
Right this
Get
moment.
going. Don't be tomorrow I'm working on this or I'm waiting on this to come in the mail. Go.
Wow. Stay connected.
Yes. If you don't stay connected, then what's going to happen is you'll end up isolating yourselves. And you'll form that woe is me attitude, and it can lead to a victim mentality.
Consider the source.
If you do not consider the source, you'll listen to a demon and you'll take the actions of a demon and make it real.
That's good.
Don't be a monument. I know what this is, and I have not read the book, but I can tell you what this is. Don't be a monument, be a movement.
There you go. If you take action and you realize that you be the source of God, and now you're moving, you are now making the whole Bible your movement. And when people see, they'll say that is a blessed family because you're not sitting there idolizing anything, you're moving.
I'm going to skip because we only got like 4 minutes. The virtue of patience, which is not I am the most impatient person sitting right here in front of you. Yeah, let patience have her. That's why they call it a her, because I ain't got it. Go ahead.
Well, sometimes when people don't lack patience, they make a decision that will get them 25 to life.
Wow.
You must have patience, but know that the virtues of patience as you working through.
So how do you say act now, but then you got to have patience? That's like an oxymoron.
Well, here's the difference. Some people say I'm waiting on the Lord or I'm having patience, and they literally mean they sit down and stop. But if you're saying you're hungry, well, you got to be patient because the food's in the oven and it says it takes 30 minutes because you don't want to eat it raw. That'll make you sick.
So you're saying like you schedule for tomorrow, but even when things are kind of what we call delayed, you're still progressing and working on things to get to your end result.
That's right. Because
regardless of it being immediate, you're still working towards the goal.
Absolutely, because it may not happen yet, but each thing is a step.
So I'm waiting, but I'm working toward it.
Exactly.
So it's like stop but go.
Yeah.
Because you know where you're going.
Yeah.
It's happening for you.
I love it.
Yes.
Last one, because we only got like a minute and a half. The secret is of all this.
This is good.
There's no secret.
There is no secret. Everyone's looking for this. Follow the Lord and just go. The Bible is already written. I'm writing books. Everybody else is writing books. Follow the Lord. There is no secret about him. Just go for it and believe you can do it.
Tell them, because we're live right now, but when we re-air this, it'll be on the screen. We're having problems with the Lord. Where can they buy Schedule for Success, and Who Told You You Were Broke? You got to come back and talk about this. We're going to go to Minneapolis and talk to them for about an hour.
Hours.
Hours, yeah.
Good.
I got 2 hours on Saturday nights we can take. Right quick, we have 1 minute. Where can they find it?
PaulieJones.com. That's PAULY Jones.com. They can go there if they're looking to start a business, home business. We just launched Bodyworth Premium Foods. They can go to Bodyworth, that's WORTH.com. Or if they want financial help, go to MyFinancialWorth.com or JMGNetworth.com. That's our corporate site.
MyFinancialWorth.com.
Worth.
MyFinancialWorth.com. JMG. Or they can go to Paulie Jones.
Paulie with a Y.
Paul Y.
Yeah.
Paulie.
PAULYJONES.com.
You need to get these 2 books. Who Told You You Were Broke? You know, you've been hearing it. Who told you that? Get a book. They'll tell you something different. And then Schedule for Success. You want to get these books. You want to connect with this man. Your life will be the better. Let's schedule for the success, a future you're going to live in anyway.
And that's the good news today. Schedule for Success. We'll see you next time.